Welcome to Answers Unleashed, a talk show to help you reshape your brain with science and faith to find the answers in front of you. Are you killing your own brain power? Are you digesting foods that is taking away from your brain power? And do you know the foods to rebuild it? I am Olympia LePoint, and I have the honor of hosting this show with you to help you understand how to reprogram your brain and rebuild your brain power. Now, as many of you know, I used to launch rockets, and I'll share with you this one particular moment in time. I was in the ROSC, it was the Rocketdyne Operations Support Room that was supporting the mission control, and we were launching the space shuttle. And my job was a reliability safety engineer. I had to look at every single one of the data calculations going across these large TV screens across from me. And there was like maybe 6 or 7 TV screens that I was looking at for 12 hours straight in this dark room. Now, there were 13 of us in this room, and I was one of them, and we were supporting the mission control and launching the space shuttle into space. And so for 12 hours before the space shuttle were to go out, we had to look at every single data, calculation, every single monitor to verify that there wasn't going to be an extensive leak, any type of pressure differences, anything that would hinder the safety and the operation of the successful flight. And during that time, something happened in one of the sessions. I was sitting there, and they had a lot of things available for us to eat during that time period of 12 hours straight. And occasionally, we would take little breaks, go into the break room, and they had a lot of things there. They had cookies, they had donuts, they had coffee, there were jelly beans. There were all sorts of different things that were there. There were some people had brought pizza, and it was something for us to take a break because we were there for 12 hours straight looking at data and numbers go by our eyes in warp speed, verifying everything was going to be safe. And I remember going over to this particular counter, and I, at the time, loved donuts. And I remember eating several donuts. It was probably like 2 or 3 of them. And it was probably 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe 3 o'clock by this time. And so we were doing anything and everything to keep ourselves up and alert and awake. And I also drank coffee. And I took coffee and I had the coffee there. I put the sugar in it. And I went back over to my desk. And as I was sitting at my desk looking at the TV screens that had all these numbers going across it, everything began to get foggy. My eyesight just began to get foggy. I felt completely tired. I wanted to go to sleep, and I couldn't go to sleep. I had to watch this engine. And I was sitting there. My teammate, who was also looking at the information, he had to go. And here I was looking at this information, and things were not as clear. And I remember blinking my eyes a couple of times trying to see if it was just something in my eyes, and it wasn't. My brain went through what was a fog. And I remember being agitated but sleepy at the same time, and I'm thinking, what is going on? Well, I ended up drinking lots of water and sitting there, and it probably this fogginess was there for around a good 20, 30 minutes. And I'm very thankful nothing happened during that time period. But my brain literally choked. My brain choked. And that was the most horrific experience that I have ever experienced with that critical time period and me going into a fog. And what I later found out, it was the food that I placed in my body. My body was having an allergic reaction to the food that was being placed in it, and I had no idea. And further, I had no idea how much food impacts our brain power and impacts the way that we think and operate, and our entire body moves on this earth. And this information was only intensified a couple of months later. My mother, as you know, went through a traumatic accident in 2004, and she survived, and she had to undergo brain surgery. And she survived that, but people didn't know whether or not she'd have function afterwards. But fortunately, she regrew back her brain. Now, for those of you who think that is not possible, I'm here to tell you the truth, which is you can grow back your brain, you can rebuild your brain, you can rebuild your body through your brain. And if anyone tells you that you cannot, that is not the truth. But we do not know that what we put into our system, what we put into our bodies, has a chemical reaction based on its energy processing, and it affects the entire way that we operate here. And so our job is to know our body, know our brain, know ourselves, to know how to restore the function in which it was originally designed to perform. All right. It's so amazing. Because when we understand that our brain, once it is operating with its full oxygen, with its full chemical reactions taking place inside of it, it can literally heal the rest of the body. Now, I'm not a food scientist. I am not a doctor. But rather, I am a person who has gone through the process of eliminating the things that stopped my brain from working the way in which it was designed to. And I became great things in response of learning how to restore my brain. I am a scientist who has learned that there are correlations between key things that we place into our bodies. And if you know what it is that you can place into your body to heal your brain, you will heal your life. All right. It was so amazing. After leaving rocket science, I went into the banking industry only to realize I loved science so much. And I started teaching as a math professor. And as I was teaching as a math professor, I realized there were certain things that the students were taking in and that was actually killing their brain power. And these top brain killers are what I'm going to show with you and share with you so you completely understand what is happening in your body. All right. The first brain type of killer that exists is what I call the SAC. It is the soda, the alcohol, and the coffee. See, caffeine in coffee and sugar in soda impairs the message transfer process of the neuron to neuron connections in the brain. Therefore, information gets trapped in one area of the brain, preventing it from quickly moving to the next. And the soda and the coffee and the alcohol are processed by the kidneys in the body. The kidneys can become strained from these substances, and the kidneys, its goal is to take out the toxins from the liquids that are in the body. And so when we have these liquids of soda, alcohol, and coffee, it actually tricks the brain, and the body doesn't know what to do. And it looks at this as complete poison that's being placed into the body. So the kidneys are working overtime trying to remove this from the body so you can function okay. And the brain adjusts its hormone secretion, and the pituitary gland is affected when we have this in our system. It's less to less neuron transfer information that is happening when we digest soda, alcohol, and coffee. And similarly, alcohol is similar to tobacco use. It creates these free radicals, these damaging type of substances that alter our DNA process. And the abuse of alcohol or even tobacco not only impairs the message transfer that is happening, but it causes severe low oxygen levels in the bloodstream. And this affects the heart. This affects your lung capacity. This affects the ability for your brain to receive oxygen. Isn't that deep? And I found this out with simple understanding what was happening with my students as they were taking soda, and we'd always have a break. And I noticed that when there was one student that always used to take in a soda, and it was one of the dark sodas. I won't even say what it was because you guys pretty much know what it is. And she brought in a dark soda, and every time we had a break, she always went to the soda machine, always had her soda. And what she was doing is relying on the caffeine in the soda to wake her up. But I noticed every time that she'd have the caffeine for a good 15-20 minutes, she'd wake up. But I'd notice right afterwards, she'd be completely kind of like stumped. And when she'd go into the group work, she couldn't understand what was happening. It was very difficult for her to understand. And we actually worked with her to remove that out of her diet and replace it with something else. And see, when we replace something else in our diet, we then replace the energy and restore the brain function. The second thing that we kill our brains with is with processed foods. The processed foods, it's so amazing because I remember being stressed out when I was in undergraduate, and I bought this gigantic potato salad from the store. And what I didn't realize is that it had MSG. It was monosodium glutamate, if that's how you say it correctly. We all pronounce it MSG. It's a food preservative, and it's a salt. It's like an amino acid in a way. It's not completely a natural amino acid. It's a processed amino acid, and it preserves food, and it actually causes problems within lots of people, and it's including headaches. It includes sweating. People sometimes have nausea. There's numbness in the face, burning sensation, chest pain, sometimes weakness in the chest because of this. And there's so many reported cases of individuals who are allergic to MSG. And MSG is in so many foods that are out there. And the purpose of MSG is to have shelf life. It's for something that is not refrigerated or something that is refrigerated to have a longer time that it can be available to be sold in stores. And the body doesn't know what to do with this MSG. And if you check out the labels, you'll find it in almost everything. You'll find it in canned soups. You'll find it in potato chips. You'll find it in cooking and in noodles, canned gravy, prepared meals, salad dressings. This is in anything that has healthy, low fat, most likely it has this MSG. And items that don't contain MSG often include something like, it's another name for MSG. It's hydrolyzed vegetable protein. That's another name for it. And it's so fascinating. Anytime you look on a label and you have difficulty pronouncing something, chances are it's some sort of preservative. MSG goes under so many different names. It goes under butylated hydroxymuscle preservative. And if you're trying to pronounce this just like I can, you are in the same boat. These are things in which we are not sure what they are. Well, these are chemical preservatives that are like sulfur dioxide, benzoic acid, sodium nitrate that have been added to foods, and they are in cold turkey. They're in these types of what we call processed foods, foods which are cut up, made and put inside the food so it has longer shelf life, so the stores can actually sell the food. So what I've noticed is that people who are very highly sensitive to foods and people who have allergic reactions, and this is my personal observation. My personal observation is that these individuals typically are Einsteins. These people have high processing capabilities from their brain. They read energy very quickly. They understand what's going on in their systems quite fast. And they have the ability to use their brain power to transform different type of situations and things in this earth and create these innovative products that people need. But what happens is that when these types of foods are placed into the body, into the system, the brain shuts down. And these individuals who are highly sensitive, I've noticed that they are typically brilliant Einsteins in disguise, and it are foods and it is situations that are causing the brain to shut down because they do not know the type of reaction that is happening. So if you're a person that's sensitive or have been going to the doctors a lot or having this type of situation, chances are your brain is brilliant and has been working overtime to try and eliminate these different toxins from your body. And if you learn what it is to replace instead of these toxins into your system, that allows your entire body to heal and allows you to actually perform what it is that you were designed to do on this earth. Now, the last thing that I've noticed that affects the digestion is stress. People who are not able to digest food are people who have learned to take in other people's stress or take in stress from other people's situations, and it affects the abdominal area in the body. What happens is that the abdominal area actually becomes locked up and unable to move with the rest of your body. Now, people are not aware that every single type of situation, every single type of event, every type of food that we place into our system, every type of action that we do has an energy that is associated with it. This is what Einstein was trying to communicate in his theory of relativity. Every single type of person that you're around has their own type of energy. And when we are in stressful situations and we unknowingly accept someone else's stress, accept someone else's toxic energy, or accept someone else's way of being that is not our own, our digestive system completely is thrown off. It locks up. And the reason why it's so important that our digestive system works is that it corresponds with our complete digestion of air into our entire body, our esophagus. It starts from our esophagus all the way down to our tailbone into the core base parts of our system and our body. It is a dance, if you will. And if you listen to my episode 3 about how there's different air valves that happen in the body, our digestive system starts all the way from our mouth and it goes all the way down to our core, past our intestines. And it is the part of the body that regulates and dances with one another and has this, it's like a domino effect. As air is brought into one area, then air transfers and there's these valves in the system. And Joel Crandall in our episode 3 talked about how beautiful our body works in that type of process. And when we experience stress, and if you are a sensitive person, chances are your entire digestive system has locked up because of the energy in a particular situation. You're never designed to accept other people's energy. You're designed to transform it and create it on your own. So with that in mind, there is stressful situations that also lock up your digestive system and do not allow you to digest any of the nutrients in your food whatsoever. So there's a way to turn your body around. And I love this show because we get a chance to share key things that happen that allow you to transform the way in which your body's operating, your brain is operating, so you can maximize the full potential of your life. And so this is the most important thing that I have learned about how energy works. And this is, I think, Sean Wolfe is a body restoration specialist in San Jose. He was giving a workshop, and I had the ability and was honored to be a part of this workshop about how energy travels through the body and how we understand it. And what I've noticed is that anytime we remove a certain type of substance or any type of stressful situation, or anytime we remove any type of thing that brings us a certain type of energy, we have to replace it with a comparable energy so our body can be restored. So in each type of case, if we have a certain situation that has been taking away the energy that is designed for our brain to use, we have to restore it in order for us to completely heal. And so these tips are the tricks I've learned that completely restores the system. And I've had to do this for myself. When I was launching rockets, I had to realize that I was allergic to wheat. Those donuts that I was eating, I was allergic to wheat. I had no idea that the wheat, and this is in my particular case, the wheat was changing my digestive system. It was causing me to bloat, and it was causing my brain to actually have a fog to it. Once I removed the wheat and replaced it with brown rice, that's what my body enjoyed and it was able to digest. What I didn't notice is I was allergic also to nuts. Most things that are fried, especially pastries, have peanut oil. So when I was eating this donut, it was having I was eating peanut oil and I was being allergic to it. And my entire system, my nervous system was being affected, and that's what was the agitation I was feeling. Coffee. I was allergic to coffee. Had no clue, but everyone was having it. But realize that geniuses and people who have the ability to transform this earth are sensitive people. So things that everyone else has is not necessarily the best thing for you. It's not necessarily the best thing for you. And I learned all these additional tricks through helping my mother when she had to restore her brain power. Now, the brain grows back when it is exposed to three key things. When it's exposed to oxygen, when it's exposed to something that creates minerals in the body, and something that creates a higher energy level. And so it's a process. So if you are having soda, coffee, tobacco, alcohol, you can remove it. You actually can remove it, but you have to make that decision to remove it from your system. And it's a process. It's not every day, but you can start by cutting it down. And then by cutting it down, you'll no longer have a need for it. So this caffeine and coffee and the sugar and soda impair the message transfer, the neuron to neuron connection in the brain. And the tobacco uses and generates free radicals that impair the message transfer. And the abuse of alcohol only impairs the message transfer process in the same manner as smoking does. So what you can do, now may sound strange, but you can replace the pH level and rebalance the pH level in your body that has been affected by those items by drinking spring and alkaline water. Now, the pH level in the spring and alkaline-based water allows the body to better metabolize oxygen into the bloodstream. And the electrolytes found in some sports drinks even, and waters allows the body to metabolize oxygen well. So whole food vegetable juices add chlorophyll to the body. So if you have the ability to have a whole food drinks with chlorophyll. There's many different fresh drinks that are being sold in the natural food stores that you go to. Green teas without caffeine are also good if you need caffeine, but you feel the caffeine from the coffee is not doing well. Green tea actually helps restore the brain, and it gives you caffeine as well. And the gum. Gum, if you need to have that chewing complex, if you have that agitation that's formed within needing to actually smoke or to have alcohol or soda or coffee, chewing gum. And it sounds strange, but the gum helps you to have a hand-to-mouth complex that's created when you're under a stressful situation. And that is the same type of beautiful part and process that we have when we're infants, when we're actually nursing. And that hand-to-mouth reaction is something that actually calms the body. So if you actually chew gum, that hand-to-mouth process, as well as the chewing aspect, activates your digestive system from being paralyzed. Now, gum is not good all the time, but when you have the gum, you have it when you have that moment of stress, and then you dump it out. Now, you can remove stress too. Stress causes your body to pump out increased levels of hormone and cortisol. And excessive stress levels can lead to the destruction of neurons in the hippocampus, and this is learning in the memory part and centers of the brain. Now, the stress hinders the frontal brain lobes from working, and then this is the frontal part. That's the part of the creative thinking that you see and people using in solving math problems and inventing things. And as a result, the stress activates the same reptilian portion of the brain. And this is what I describe in my chapter 8 in my Mathophobia book. All right. Now, what you can remove stress, you have to remove that energy that is associated from stress so it doesn't lock up your digestive system. And the best way I've noticed for me just witnessing things like this is through meditation and prayer. Now, there's 3 ways that you can stop this cortisol secreting in your system, and it is through exercise, laughter, and prayer. This sounds so strange, but exercise begins to reestablish the hormone regulation in the body, which stops the cortisone secretion. In a study done with laughter, patients who laughed daily healed their ailments faster than a group that was exposed to the same ailments, but they didn't laugh. And there's these studies that indicate that energy that's used and that muscle contraction that's used with the laughter completely aligns the digestive system so it completely works again. And studies show that prayer and meditation also create this process of reducing this cortisone secretion. And so when you pray and meditate, you actually have to completely see a different type of scenario in your brain and digest that. It's almost like a fantasy. And you have to create that image and replace that image into your entire thought process in order to remove the stress. Now, things in which help you, foods that help you, are a couple things. Acidophilus. When you have acidophilus in your entire body, it is actually a type of process that's used that fights off bacteria that is from inflammation. So if you go to a health food store, there's different type of acidophilus. Get the acidophilus that looks at the entire type of strains that exist for each part of the digestive tract. By taking that, you actually create less inflammation in the body, which allows you to digest food better. If you have the ability to have green organic foods, things like broccoli, things like spinach, kale, you can increase the oxygen level in the body. And it's important that you, if you can, get the organic foods that has not been exposed to different chemicals of the growing process. When you have this in your system, that allows your body to completely allow oxygen levels to increase in the body. If you have access to two things, fish oil, that allows there to be the fat that's restored in the body. And you can also have this type of fat from egg yolks. Now, when you have the oil in the body, that actually creates a type of lubrication that allows energy to transfer from one neuron to the other. And that's helpful within recovering the brain and actually allowing there to be complete flow within the brain that allows the brain to actually reshape. So that's important for you to have as well. Alkaline water, if you have alkaline water, or drink spring water as much as possible, that restores the pH balance, and that also flushes out the kidneys, that then helps flush out your toxins from your body, that allows your brain to actually function quicker. Red meat, there's certain red meats that work for bodies. Not all people can eat beef. I am not one of them, and that's just me specifically, but there's other people that have sensitivities. If you have a lot of red meat in your body, you or eating it often, as well as processed foods, you are creating a acid level that's higher in your body. And the way you can reduce that is having more fish, having more vegetables, and having grains that reduce inflammation. Brown rice is one of them. You can have beans as well, and that's something that allows there to be higher protein in the body. So not everyone has the ability to digest red meat. Some red meats are okay depending on the person. Some people can have lamb, and that's great. And there's a great book out, Eating Right for Your Blood Type, and that is a type of book, if you can Google it, it's something that helps a lot of people knowing about the types of foods that digest well in their body based on their blood type. And so that's something great to check out. And the last tip I would recommend is this. If you have the ability to actually take out, if you're very sensitive and you are having difficulty eating, take out nuts from your diet. It actually, and anything that's scratchy or which scratch the interior wall of your digestive tract. And this can be corn chips, even things that are crunchy, even sometimes apple or things that have a high fiber intake that is like that bulks up into your system. Even psyllium husk, that is a fiber, is not necessarily good. Things that if you're very sensitive and you have difficulty eating, and you get indigestion or upset stomach regularly, take out the apple, take out some of the dairy products, take out the nuts, take out corn chips, take out fried foods for a while. That allows the skin inside of your colon to completely heal so it can digest your information and digest your nutrients so your brain has the information to process correctly. Well, I hope this helps you. I love sharing these tips with you here on Answers Unleashed. And you can call in and ask us any question, and we hopefully can answer on the air. It's 888-88-ANSWERS for you. So we are excited. Tune in to us next week on kpcradio.com to hear great guests on our show. And you can always message me directly at answersunleashed.com and see our past episodes that we have available for you on the site. Again, I am here with you, Olympia LePoint, helping you reshape your brain with science and faith to find the answers in front of you. I'll see you next time.